We're joined now by Michael Valila. He honorably served in the U.S. Army in Iraq. He is the current chapter service officer, program coordinator for the DAV Veterans Advancement Programs, commander of Worcester Chapter 4, and recently was appointed as the department's assistant adjutant. Mike, really appreciate you coming on the show on Veterans Day this year.
Thank you for having me.
If you're open to it, I was hoping you could start off by just talking to our listeners a little bit about your service, your experience in the military, and then in particular your return to civilian life and what role DAV played in that.
Yeah, that's a big topic, but a great place to start. So I served 7.5 years in the Army, deploying to Iraq in 2010. And when I came home from Iraq, I was kind of lost, as a lot of guys are. The military does a great job of training you up and preparing you to deploy, go overseas, and get through your time in service. But there's not so much guidance once you get home. Yeah. So I came home, and one of the first things I wanted to do was go to college. Prior to deploying, I was working doing military funerals with the State Honor Guard, and through deployment, I decided I no longer wished to, conduct the funerals. It hit a little too close to home at that point.
Sure.
So I wanted to use my benefits and go to college. It was going to college that I ran into a group of veterans who kind of steered me toward DAV. That was my first interaction at that time. At that point, DAV had assisted me with claims and benefits, but it was real, light contact. Further down the road, I was working at the hospital in town, and I was running a veterans peer-to-peer support group in the evenings. And at that point, I ran into a former national commander for DAV. He filled my head with all these great services and programs DAV did, the fraternal aspects of it, and kind of took me under his wing, brought me on board. Shortly thereafter, I began working for DAV as a national service officer for about 6 years' time, doing claims and benefits for veterans. I started working for the department thereafter with the Veterans Housing Program. As you had mentioned, doing case management there, helping guys who are transitioning from military to civilian life and assisting them in using those great benefits that they deserve and have earned in navigating the VA network. And then in this new role, being appointed as assistant adjutant, now I'm kind of overlooking all of the services and programs that we have within the state. So our voluntary service program, our volunteers that go into the VAs across the state and Soldiers Home do a variety of activities there, save the VA hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every year with our voluntary services that we provide. We have a transportation network. We give veterans free rides to and from any VA scheduled appointment, whether it's directly at a VA facility or out in the community, or through a VA contracted provider. I look over all our fraternal chapters and auxiliary units. The fraternal chapters, we have about 50 or so across the state, and the auxiliary units are comprised of family members of veterans who are, they're really the backbone of our organization, supporting everything that we in the department do. And so much more. It's just a real great organization. There's a lot of veterans organizations out there, but DAV, they, like I said, they took me right under their wing from the jump, and it's a phenomenal family atmosphere. So I was able to bring my wife and kids to everything, and it just was so inclusive. It made you want to be a part of it and just give back, just like they had gave to me.
Mike, one piece that, again, to get on the personal, your experience level here, that stuck with me from an interview I did yesterday was just the level of military involvement today compared to years past. And, whether it was after the Korean War or World War II or Vietnam, the people coming home there had a network built in. Many more people served in the military back then. And compared to today, where I think the stat was fewer than 1 in 100 Americans serve in the military. How different is it for people coming out these days, and what struggles do they face in just developing that network of people who have a shared experience? I think you hinted at that, but it seems that was one piece that really stuck with me for today's veterans compared to decades past.
Yeah, as I said, the military does a great job training you up and giving you all the tools while you're in, but on your way out the door, it's not really provided in an easily digestible manner or something that really sticks and holds. What I would love to see moving forward is, somebody who would reach out, 3 months, 6 months down the road from discharge and check in on those soldiers and make sure that they are equipped to move forward. They know what resources or benefits are there for them, et cetera. But that currently doesn't exist. So that's where DAV and is able to step in and provide that type of guidance. On my way out of service, as I said, I was really lost. I had planned on doing a 20-year career, but due to injuries sustained overseas, that wasn't a reality for me. And so it was kind of a huge change-up of plans on the spot. And then where do I go from here, It's really hard to, find what's out there unless you have somebody to guide you. I was lucky when we touched down stateside in Fort Dix, New Jersey. The tarmac was lined with 200-plus Vietnam veterans holding flags, welcoming us home because they didn't have that when they got home. And then every step of the way, once I got home, it was that older generation of veterans who were kind of taking me under their wing and showing me the way. And if you're open to listening to them, they're going to guide you through. And now I'm trying to carry that forward for the generations below me.
Mike, the services that DAV provides are really incredible. For those who are not veterans, not directly tied to the military, myself included, can you talk to me about some of the big opportunities with the DAV that they might have to be able to get involved here?
Yes, we have wonderful volunteer opportunities under DAV's umbrella for veterans, family members of veterans, or anybody in the community, whether they're directly attached to a veteran or not. Our local voluntary assistance program is a great program that DAV started up recently, and that's, assisting veterans in your community in any way. That could be helping your neighbor who's a vet, mowing his lawn, or helping him, with the groceries, simple things like that. It could be giving a veteran a ride to an appointment. It could be taking part in packing care packages or writing thank you cards, or all those great things that a lot of people are already doing on their own in other organizations or at the schools, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, etc. But under the local voluntary assistance program, DAV recognizes all of this volunteerism towards veterans programs and veterans assistance, and it kind of loops them in to become, more active with DAV, and we can then provide some form of recognition and counsel to them for those efforts.
Mike Valila from the Disabled American Veterans Department of Massachusetts. Really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing your experience. Thanks again, Mike, and hopefully see you this weekend.
Thank you so much for having me. Our 5K is coming up Sunday at Castle Island. I look forward to see so many of you out there.
Thanks, Mike. Again, folks, there are great volunteer opportunities with the DAV, but if you're unable to do that and you'd like to make a financial contribution, the lines are open. The number again, 978-632-1985. One more time, 978-632-1985, or you can visit dav5k.biz.